Hello, everyone, and this is Jake from CINECALIBER, and welcome back to the channel. Today, we're diving into one of the most anticipated Star Wars releases, Andor Season 2. This is also one of my most anticipated shows of the 2025 year. If you guys would like to see a more detailed description of those, there is a link you can click on the bottom of this video for that as well. So yeah, after the critically acclaimed first season set a new standard for storytelling in the galaxy far, far away, expectations were sky high for the follow-up. So does season 2 stick the landing? Let's break it down. We'll start with what worked and what didn't. I'll give you guys a little bit of an intro, plot summary. So, Season 2 of Andor chronicles the final stages of Cassian Andor's evolution from a disillusioned drifter into a committed rebel operative. As the Empire tightens its grip on the galaxy, Cassian becomes entangled in increasingly dangerous missions that test his resolve, while Mon Mothma navigates political peril on Coruscant to secretly fund and organize the growing rebellion. Luthen Rail continues to manipulate events in the shadows, sacrificing lives and ideals to keep the cause alive. As the narrative builds towards the events of Rogue One, alliances are forged, betrayals unfold, and the cost of rebellion becomes more personal than ever. So we're going to start first, guys, like I said, with what was a hit with this film, The Good. Um, I really enjoyed that this had a consistent, mature storytelling to it. One of the biggest strengths of Andor Season 2 is that it stays true to its grounded, mature tone. This isn't a show about Jedi or galactic dogfights. It's about rebellion, surveillance, sacrifice, and resistance. Season 2 continues to treat its audience like adults, diving deeper into the moral ambiguity and political decay of the Empire. It's a Star Wars version of a slow burning espionage thriller, and it works tremendously. Never seen anything like it, to be honest. Then, another thing I really liked was the complex character arcs. Cassian Andor's transformation continues to be compelling. We see him evolve from a reluctant survivor into a man willing to fight and eventually die for something greater. And it's not just Cassian. Mon Mothma's struggle to balance power, family, and revolution becomes even more central. And then you have Luthen too. He remains a fascinating wild card. These just aren't just characters; their ideologies clashing into real time, and I really enjoyed that. Um, I also like the expanded political intrigue. Season 2 leans heavily into the political tension that made the first season stand out. We're not just watching rebels blast stormtroopers, we're seeing how fascism creeps into everyday life. There's Senate debates, secret meetings, financial manipulation. This show peels back the mechanics of tyranny in a way that feels amazingly relevant to our own world. Um, I also like just the top tier acting and direction. Diego Luna once again gives a quietly powerful performance, while Genevieve O'Reilly brings emotional depth to Mon Mothma as well. And then, of course, like I said, for Stellan Skarsgård, every scene feels like a masterclass in controlled intensity with him. Visually, the direction and cinematography are cinematic in scale. The series continues to prove that Star Wars TV can look and feel like prestige cinema. Um, and then my final highlight of this show was the seamless connection to Rogue One. Season 2 builds directly towards the events of Rogue One, and that narrative clarity adds tension and urgency. We know where it ends, but the journey there is filled with emotional weight and character decisions that make that inevitable finale even more heartbreaking. Um, that was all that was a hit for me, guys. We'll get into what was a miss, the bad. Um, this is so there's some slow pacing, really. Let's be real. Andor is not for everyone. The deliberate pacing, while purposeful, might feel like a drag for those used to the high octane action of, say, like The Mandalorian or Obi-Wan TV shows. Some episodes take their time setting up character decisions or plotting political strategy. Not every viewer will have the patience for that. I do, but I can definitely see why others would not. So just keep that in mind going into this show. It kind of doesn't have that classic Star Wars feel to it. either. There's no lightsabers, there's no Force, no Skywalkers. For diehard fans looking for that traditional Star Wars magic, Andor might feel almost alien. It's a radically different flavor in the franchise, and while that's a strength in many ways, it might leave longtime fans feeling disconnected. Um, then there is the predictable endgame, of course. Because this season leads directly into Rogue One, we already know Cassian's fate. That takes some of the suspense out of major story arcs here. While the writing still manages to make things emotionally compelling, you can't help but feel like certain stakes are off the table because of the whole predictable endgame. So, then I thought there was like a bit of a niche appeal in this show. Andrew excels at what it does, right? But what it doesn't what it does won't appeal to everyone. The cerebral, politically driven narrative might not resonate with younger viewers or those looking for escapism over realism. It's a prestige political thriller dressed in Star Wars aesthetics, not the other way around, and some people might not like that. It really just feels like its own story, just using Star Wars lore to kind of contribute to the narrative. And also just, I feel like season one set such high expectations, and it kind of put some pressure on this season. The first season settings was set at a high bar, of course. Um, while it largely succeeds, even minor missteps in pacing or character focus feel a bit amplified here because of that pressure. If you're expecting an even stronger sequel, your expectations might slightly outpace the final product here. So also just keep that in mind. But my final thoughts, and my final rating. Andor Season 2 is a bold, intelligent, and emotionally resonant piece of Star Wars storytelling. It's not flashy, but it's layered and richly written, perfect for fans who want substance over spectacle. It won't win everyone over, but for those who appreciate its slow burn approach, this season is a near masterpiece. Based on my review, I would have to give Andor season 2 a solid rating, guys, of a 9 out of 10. Um, as stated, it had outstanding writing and storytelling that elevates the Star Wars universe beyond space opera. The complex characters with nuanced development, especially Cassian, Mon Mothma, and Luthen. There's the thoughtful political themes that reflect real world issues, the exceptional acting, direction, and production quality, the cohesive connection to Rogue One. It adds depth and emotional payoff. A full point is deducted due to the show's limited appeal to broader Star Wars fans, its slow pacing, and reduced narrative tension from a known ending. Um, so, yeah, I mean, this score to me reflects a critically acclaimed series that excels in its lane. With a few caveats that could prevent it from being universally loved. It's not perfect, but it's absolutely one of the best Star Wars projects in years, if not ever, for a mature audience. But that was all for today, guys. What did you think of Andor season 2? If you have seen it, drop your thoughts in the comments. Hit that like button, and if you've enjoyed this breakdown, don't forget to subscribe for more reviews from a galaxy not so far away. And that is all for today. And this is Jake from CINECALIBER.